Let's now create what I call a master material. A master material is a material with parameters for everything, so you can create almost any type of looking material instance without compiling, from just one full master material. So let's go here and create a new material, call this master mat. I'll open it up. Now the first thing we want is a diffuse or base color, but we're not going to attach it directly. What we want to right click and we want to type in texture param. You can see texture sample parameter 2D. You don't want to use texture object because an object is different from a parameter. You can't get the different attributes themselves. So we get texture sample. We'll call this diffuse. And then we aren't just going to put this straight in. This will allow us to change the texture, and by default I'm just going to make this basalt rock. I always do that for some reason. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to also create a new parameter. We want a vector parameter, and we're going to call this tint. Now what the tint will allow us to do is it will allow us to change the color of our diffuse in the instance without having to change the texture at all. But first we just want to make sure that by default it's set to 1, 1, 1, 1. And we just want to attach that to base color. And now you see, because we set it to white, it will just look standard. Now what we want to do is we want to make the same thing except slightly different for the metallic. So we want to just copy this or duplicate it, drag it down, and we're going to call this one metallic. And we're going to default this to white. Well, first of all, if we want to use, because there's a lot of textures that come with the engine, but you can't access them because they're in the engine folder. So to be able to do that, you have to go View Options and show engine content. This will allow us to use all the content that comes with the engine. So now we just want to go in here and we want to set it to white. We just want blank white. So this will mean that if we plug this in right now, it will just be white metallic. So it will be, because white is 1 and black is 0, so white will be full metallic looking right now. So what we want to do is we want to then multiply this. We want to multiply this by a scalar parameter. So we type in scalar, come up, and we'll call this metallic strength, and we will leave this at default to 0. So by default this will not be metallic. We'll put that into metallic. And you'll see, because when you multiply 0 by 1, it gives you 0. So, and 0 is black, so this will just be non-metallic. Then we want to copy this, and we want to duplicate it exactly the same for specular. We just want to obviously rename the things to specular instead. Remember, specular is how reflective it is. And I'll call this specular. We just connect it to specular, and then do exactly the same thing again for roughness. Just cancel the autosave, and then rename it to roughness, and this one to roughness. Attach that. And now we have to do something slightly different for normal, because with a normal, if you multiply all of them by a power or a strength, it will glitch out and not look right. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy this again. Just going to duplicate it for now. Now of course you could set this out better, but I am not doing that right now. I'm going to call this normal strength. I'm going to call this normal. But normal map when a normal is flat, it is not white. When a normal is flat, it is a certain type of blue. So if we just type in flat, you can see flat normal. See, so that is what a flat normal looks like. It's not white at all. But we don't want to multiply it by that directly, because it will, if we multiply all of it like that, then it will not work. So what we want to do, we want to first of all change the default for normal strength to 1. And we want to attach this to red instead. Then we want to duplicate it, bring it down here, do the same thing except with green, and then leave blue. Then we want to make float 3. We want to put the red in, the green in, and then we want to put the blue straight in. Then we want to put this up here. Oh, I put it in emissive color, not normal. Emissive into normal. There. Now it will look right. But of course, I don't want a flat normal because this is, I'm making it by default be basalt. So I just want basalt. And now, by default, it will be a very dry rock. But we can go in and change all of this. So if I create an instance, just leave it like that, and put it onto here, then you will see. Now we just have very simple rock. So you can see it's just rock. But we can change every single little detail about this material. So, you know, say we want it to be, say we just want it to be a bit reflective. Maybe it's been raining. We'll just put this on 0.7. You can see, look at that, we have some specular. It's hard to see it on the top. You can kind of see it there though. So that's a bit reflective. We can put it on 1. It's been heavy raining. And say we want it to be steel all of a sudden. We don't want it to be rock anymore. You can change the diffuse. I'll just drag this out. Click on this, and I'm going to type in metal. I'm going to go steel. Do the same thing for the normal. Just type in steel this time though. And you see all of a sudden, look, we have steel. So you can change every detail. You can add a roughness map if you want. So if you only want certain parts to be rough, so certain parts to be specular, we can go type in rough, see if there's anything there. We could go. We'll just use this, see what it looks like. I mean, it did do something, but it doesn't look right. So you can see if you go close, you can see it's But yeah. Anyway, so you can use that, or we could go. By the way, if you unclick it, then it means it will, even though it will look like the one you just selected, it will revert back to the default. Or if you have it selected, you can just click on the little arrow here to set it back to default. And you do the same thing for the specular map. So if you want, I don't think there's anything with specular map. No, not really. But yeah, you can make any looking material you want with this. So if you'd like to learn more about UE4, then please join me next time.